Now let's learn about config maps and volumes. So config maps and volumes works as follows. So here we have our config map, and then we also have our pod. Now remember, a pod is a collection of one or more containers. So here we just have one main container. Then remember I said a pod is also a collection of volumes. So here what we do is we create a volume, and then we mount that volume inside of the container. Then what's interesting when we do this is that wherever we mount the volume, we get a file structure like this. So let's say that we mount under /name, then we have a folder structure. Under that folder, we have a file called app.version, server.name, and then the contents of that file is the values for each key inside of that data map. Let's go ahead and see this in action. So in here, inside of VS Code, so here we have this deployment called config map. We have one container. Now let's create a second container in here. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So let me just copy all of this in here, and let me just paste here. And let me also take the command in here, just like that, and then paste it. Let's just paste it here. And what I want to do is just sleep. So I just want to sleep in here, right? Because I want to bash into it so you can see the contents inside. So now the way that we have the config map being mounted as a volume in here is as follows. So here inside of this container, we can say, so here we can say volume mounts, and then the path. So let's just say that this is some configuration. So it's going to go under /, and then let's say that this is the order. So order microservice, for example, and this is the folder. Now in here, so the name is the name of the volume. So here, let's create a volume. So basically outside containers, and here I'm going to say volumes, and you've learned about volumes, so you should be familiar with it. So here, let me just call this as order dash and then config. I'm going to press Control space, and here have a look, config map. And then what we need to pass is the name of our config map. So name, and then the name of our config map is, so let's just take, for example, let's take this guy here. So we're going to only mount this one. So here, let's just mount this one first. So just like that. And then we take this name and then we put it here. So hopefully you can see how things are fitting together. Let's also have a second volume in here. So this is for the second one, just like that. And let's just say, let's just rename this to order, and then, or let's just say nginx. We're going to call it nginx-conf. So we're going to call it the same name as we've called this. So here, and then this is the app properties. So here we're going to call it, so nginx-conf, and then here this will be nginx-conf. So these two names have to match. And then for the second one here, let's just take this name as well. And in here, so this will be that, so name, and then the config map is the same. So basically we're just keeping everything consistent. And then here we can basically take in here, I can basically just mount this and then say that this is app.properties in here. So app.properties, and here I'm going to say / and then properties. And then here, let's just change the mount path. So here that'll be / and then nginx. So as it stands, we cannot mount two volumes under the same path. And I'm going to show you this in a second. So there you go. So now let me save this, and you can find all of this in the description of this video as well. Now let me go back to my terminal, and in here I want to basically say apply. So let's just apply the config maps. There we go. And if I say get pods, just like that, we have this one running in here. And I think we have a mistake. So here, so containers, so you see that these two containers, so this container has the same name as this one. So let's just change this, and this will be vol for volume, or let's just say volume, for example. There we go. Now let me go back, and then in here, apply again, configured, get pods, and it's already running. So that was quick. And now if I say, so let me just be a little bit lazy, and no, I don't have. So let's just say kubectl exec dash it, and then the pod name dash c for container. The container name was, so this one here, paste that dash dash, and then sh, and we are inside. So now if I say cd and then / etc, now let me clear the screen and let's have a look. So ls, have a look, we have order. So let's cd into order. There we go. And under order, we should have two folders. Have a look, nginx and properties. So ls-a, or actually al, you can see that these are directories, right? So this one is a directory, both of them, right? Now, if I say cd into, let's go into properties first, and then ls, have a look, app name, app version, app team, cat, app name, whoops, there we go. And basically you can see that this is the content in here, order in here, right? And let's, oh, actually, let me just say less here, and you see app and then name. There we go. You can see that we have order in here. So q out of there, so I can just come out, and ls, we can also say cat app and then version here, have a look, 1.0.0, and then the final one is team. There we go, engineering. So you can see that we mounted basically this. So in here, so all of this right here, and you can see that we mounted under, so that is mounted under properties, right, in here. And then we have all of those as a file, and then the file content is the value themselves. Now let's have a look at the nginx one. So if I go back, so here I need to go back, so cd ... ls, and then cd nginx, and now inside we should see one file, ls nginx-conf cat nginx-conf, and have a look. So this is awesome. So you can see that this is the configuration file that we have. So this is how you use config maps with volumes. And as I said, if you change the config map, that is reflected because we are using volumes. So this is cool. Next, what I want to show you is, so in here, if you want to mount both config maps under the same folder, we have to change things a little bit. But if you have any questions on config maps and volumes, let me know. Otherwise, catch me on the next video.